Hi golfers, welcome to this week's newsletter swing tip. This week we're going to look at how to hit the ball lower and flatter into the wind now that the autumn, the winter is coming about. So recently with the summer months, no real wind to talk about, using our standard ball position, sort of being just inside our left heel or opposite our left chest, really helps us get an awful lot of nice bit of loft on the club face, an awful lot of loft on the club face and therefore on the back of the ball, help us hitting some nice high mid-irons, 7-iron that I've got here. But unfortunately when it comes to a 20-25 mile an hour wind, the last thing we want to do is be popping up nice and high. We want to chop the flight in half, if not by a third, and hit the ball flatter and through the wind, not let it travel up and kill the distance on the back of the ball and lose control of the accuracy that we might want or wish for. So rather than that standard ball position, this bit you probably have heard before of is to take the ball back in your stance more towards your right heel, but making sure that the most important part is that you keep your hands opposite the inside of your left thigh where you would do for a normal shot. This really helps take down the loft of the club face because the shaft is now leaning heavily towards the target. One other thing I personally try and do whilst I'm hitting these shots a little bit flatter is set our weight up very much on the left side. This helps us get the angle of attack a little bit steeper, again helping keeping the loft off the club face, helping hitting it low. And when I swing through, I try and curtail my follow through. Again, this all helps stop any loft being added to the club face in any way, shape or form. And again, depending on how you swing the club, whether you add loft to it a lot when you can hit a high ball naturally or whether you hit a ball lower naturally, you might have to adapt what I'm saying here slightly from a ball position and weight distribution as you hit the ball. But the main key things we're looking for in the day is that we come through impact with the shaft leaning towards the target as we hit the ball. So now I'm going to try and hit a standard shot and a low punch shot, and I'll show you on my launch monitor, hopefully with the correct results showing a higher standard shot and a lower shot. So here we go with a standard shot, standard ball position, fairly standard creaky swing. There's my standard shot. And here's me trying to hit my nice low shot. So the ball's going back in my stance towards my right heel, hand opposite my left thigh, maintaining my weight onto my left side as I make my backswing to help get a nice downward angle of attack. Curtail the follow through, and there we have it. A big change in the ball flight. I'll just show you the resulting factor. So we've got the picture you can see here, hopefully. Shot number one, and we launched at 18.5 degrees of loft. And you can see the height on the top of the flight there. And then we go to shot number two, which you can see is clearly flatter in flight. And we've knocked almost 5.5 degrees of loft on the club face. So the ball has come out a lot flatter. And most importantly as well, we've managed to chop almost 1,000 revs off the back of the ball. Okay, I'm not fully warmed up, so I've managed to push them to the right edge of a green if I was hitting into it. But other than that, two nicely hit shots, but changing the flight for hitting back into the wind out on the golf course. So that tip's a little bit drawn out, but it's no other simpler way of showing it really. And it's great if you ever want to come and practice hitting them in the swing room here before you go out on the golf course with the wind, so you can perfect the strike. Sometimes it's a bit tricky as you've got an extreme change of ball position. But if you want to, we can book you in. You can come up and simply practice how low you can launch the ball with your mid-irons and put a good strike on it at the same time. So I hope that helps. Again, if you need some tuition in trying to do that, or simply to come in and use the machinery in here, push the button, book a time, and we'll speak to you soon. Thank you.